Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Monday Musings. I thought about this after I received an email recently from a vendor that I've had a long-standing relationship with. So let me just give you the background. We were trying to figure out an issue, and we've been collegially sending emails back and forth. And I replied to him back in a couple months ago, and some time had passed, and I hadn't heard back from him. So, just about the time that I was going to reach out to him, I got a very angry email accusing me of not replying to his last email. And so it took me aback because that, of course, wasn't the case. And of course, I started having my assumptions about his response um, to the email. Not so much about the non-response, but the energy and emotions that were behind the words that he shared with me by not having my email. Well, of course, that's where I kind of dwell this weekend, and I after a minute, because I have been training myself to not respond immediately. Anyway, I replied to him and I said, well, I replied back in whatever date it was and forwarded the reply to him. And then I heard back actually pretty quickly from him, very apologetic, very contrite, um, stating that my email was indeed sitting in his spam and he hadn't realized that. Anyway, so a little kerfluffle, um, with a lot of assumptions. And so assumptions are, we make guesses about people and things perhaps more often than we should without all the facts. Now, I'm not talking about the average person who you're going to the supermarket or you're going to a store and they're just being unkind people. I am talking about the relationships that we form at work, at home, with our children, with our spouses, with our teachers, with our doctors, with the people who have a revolving and important role in our lives. And so assumptions are like creating a story with only a few puzzle pieces. But what if we try to do something a little differently? What if instead of making quick judgments, we were a little curious? And this is where I am going to continue to challenge myself, and I invite you to try this just one time with one person whom you value that relationship. It could be that partner or that person who you're dating, and you've been watching that text, and it took them maybe an hour to reply back to you, and our minds just kind of making all kinds of storylines with very few facts. So why don't we break apart a statement that was an assumption, break it apart in our space, in our headspace. Let us discover where that assumption may be in our head, and let's sit with it and see how that is limiting our options in how we reply, in how we move forward with folks. As we go through life, let's try and appreciate and try and be kind to each other. So let's be curious, let's check our thoughts, let's listen actively. Let's even try and step into our shoes, okay? Sorry, not our shoes, their shoes. Okay, so this is Dr. Stanley. Have a good day. Walk good.